Hello ladies and gentlemen, this is Jamie aka Rick here, bringing you part 46 of my GTA4 Let's Play. In this episode, as you can see, I test drive a car. It's not with the intention to buy it. I don't think I mentioned this in the last video, but I intend to kidnap this the woman that's doing the test drive with me, because she's related to some big boss. I can't remember exactly why. It's for Gerald, I know that much, but it's for some, quite important person. So we kidnap his daughter, and yeah, she's a bit of a pain in the ass. So she grabs hold of the steering wheel a couple of times later on, once she's actually realised that I'm kidnapping her. And yeah, so that's pretty much the first part. And then after that, I go and I get a call to say that I think is it Darden or something, his name, the guy who set up all my friends and got them killed back in Russia. He's actually been brought into the country, and we go to meet him, me and Roman. I decide to spare him after speaking to him, because by the looks of him, what he's done, like, he's realised what he's done, and it's kind of, chewed away at his life really. He hasn't got much to live for. So I thought I'd actually let him suffer a bit more, and not put him out of his misery. So I left him alive, which goes in with what I've done for the rest of the game as well. When I've had the chance to save someone, I have. So it's pretty good. This is the point where she starts grabbing hold of the steering wheel. It's not my terrible driving, although if I hadn't have said that, you probably would have thought it was, because it's not, my driving is not the best in this game, but it's not quite this bad. After that, I have to go and take a picture of the girl, because the guy who we're trying to blackmail doesn't believe that we've got her. So I go and take a picture of her, and then we send that off to him. So then he does believe us, funnily enough. But yeah, that's pretty much what happens in the video. Now I'm going to move on to the topic of this video, which is going to be portable gaming, which could mean quite a lot of things, obviously. Or quite a lot of mediums for portable gaming these days. It's not just handheld devices like it used to be. There's a lot more to portable gaming nowadays. But for this video, I'm not really talking about laptops as much. I know that nowadays you can get powerful laptops, and you can pretty much run like full spec games anywhere you want, as long as you've got like an internet connection or whatever, if they're online. But I'm going to try and stray away from that as much as possible, because obviously that's, I don't know, it kind of defeats the object of mobile gaming for me, because like portable gaming, because you're playing the same games even though you're not in a normal environment. I know for some things that could be good, like I wouldn't mind playing games on the move, like really high definition games and that, but for the most part, when I portable gaming, I think to like a DS or a PSP, maybe a phone, something, or like the older stuff like Game Boy Color, Game Boy Advance, all those old handheld systems where portable gaming first came from, really. So that's what I'm going to be talking about for most of this video, and just my opinion on why the market for portable gaming is so huge, and just general what I think about gaming on the move, as you say. We're going to start off with obviously some my favourite games first of all for portable devices. Obviously the main one for most people, I would imagine, even if they don't admit it, they've still played it. It's Pokemon. Doesn't matter which one. Can be red, can be like leaf green, gold, or right up till black and white now. I've got pretty much one of each series of games, so I've played them all. Every time there's one brought out, I always buy one of them, and I always play them. Not a huge amount. I never get like amazingly far. Furthest one is still red, like the original one, because they didn't bring another one out after that for quite a while, so it gave me a long time to actually play it and complete it. And at that time I didn't have much else, so I didn't have my computer then, so I had more time to spend actually playing Pokemon. So nowadays, I've bought Pokemon, I think I got Black, and I haven't played a huge amount of it. It is awesome, I have to say. They do get better all the time, apart from Red. Like, nothing can beat the first series for me. They are awesome. The remakes were alright, the leaf green and fire red ones, they were pretty good, I have to say, but they're the closest it's been to the originals. But still, the first two are really good. Like the ones up till now are good still. I still would recommend playing them, because I have got different Pokemon in, so it is a bit of a variation. As you know, I'm a big fan of variation, so what else can I say about Pokemon really? It's a huge game, first of all, because you've got to collect all these different kinds of Pokemon. Some you can't catch in the wild, some you've got to like evolve or whatever. So, and there's always something, well, not always something to do, but again, it's a really long game, and I think that's what I like about portable games in general. They are a lot long, like quite long, so if you got somewhere to travel for, you know, a good 6-7 hours, then you can, you know, just pick up your DS or whatever and you know, play Pokemon for hours on end and still not be anywhere near completing it. I remember one holiday like abroad when I was younger, I went to Mallorca with my family, and this was when Ruby and Sapphire were out, and I pretty much played it the whole time. I played Sapphire from like before we left, you know, in the airport, on the plane, when we got to the hotel, you know, like when everyone was getting ready in the mornings or whatever. I just switched it on, you know, played it before I went to bed, and I didn't get hardly any like distance through it. I still had a absolute ton of game time to play, even at that point then. So that's one thing that I love about them games, a lot of playtime. Obviously another thing, the amount of Pokemon that there are, and the story is like normally reasonably good. I mean, it is the same thing over and over again, like Team Rocket or whatever. Their name changes, like Team Plasma, you know, all these different names. It's basically the same, still Team Rocket. They always mess something up, or they're after power or something like that, and you end up stopping them even though you're like a little child with some Pokemon. You just end up battling them and taking them all down, and they seem to give up when they've got no Pokemon left, which doesn't really make much sense, but there we go. That's you know, it is a kid's story, so it's, you know, based around the Pokemon. It's not gonna start getting violent and start, you know, beating each other up just because their Pokemon's been knocked out or whatever. So, you know, I mean, there is some things that are a bit strange in Pokemon like that, but I mean, still, it is a fantastic game, and I could play it for hours and hours and hours. I could talk about it for a long time, because obviously I've played them for ages, and I used to collect the cards and stuff, so everything, you know, I've grown up around Pokemon. So, well, I'm going to move away from it and move to another game that I've pretty much lost my life to, and still continue to do so now, which is Final Fantasy Tactics Advanced, which is probably like the second game I bought for my Game Boy Advance, and I still play it now. It's absolutely amazing. I think I've spoke about it before. It might have even been in my like top 5 games or whatever, because it's a game I've played for a good probably 200-300 hours, and this is on a like Game Boy Advance, or I use it on my DS because I got the one with the Game Boy Advance expansion in the bottom, which is cool. I don't see why you'd buy a newer one, because they haven't got that anymore, which is probably the best thing about the DS Lite in my opinion. But yeah, so Final Fantasy Tactics, I've mentioned it before, so I'm not going to go into huge detail about it, but it has a huge range of classes, like all Final Fantasy games do, or not all, but a lot of them. There's a huge like variation of classes. They're all different. They all do different things. You can get, obviously, you can build up the party you want, like in the way that you want it to work. So, if you want it to work in a specific way, say you want one tank and then a lot of casters, and then obviously some healers smashed in there just for good measure, you can do that. If you want to go heavy melee just with a couple of healers, so you can split up, then you can also do that. So there's a lot of variety that you can get just from your party. So, and then obviously there's a lot of weapons, and the way that you get the classes as well is fantastic. It's probably one of the best systems I've actually seen in a game. Basically, you buy weapons and armor, and they teach your like characters class specific spells. Say it's a white mage, you equip some like rod of like say light or something, it teaches you Cure, and then you get another one that teaches Cura, and then Curaga, all the normal Final Fantasy spells. But say you learn 2 spells as a white mage, or and then you can become, say, a red mage or something like that. But it's a lot more in depth than that. It's probably like you got 2 spells as a black mage, and then you can become a white mage or a time mage. And then I think if you learn another few as a black mage, like say 5 as a black mage, 2 as a white mage, you get like a red mage, something like that. So obviously as it progresses they get better and better, or they can just do more things. So I mean, it's a lot of variety that you can get, and you've got to play it for a long time to unlock all the classes that there are, and to actually get powerful characters, because obviously if you've got loads of attacks then you're going to be better, and you can only get those by doing a hell of a lot of battles. So there is some grinding aspect involved in it, but I always mix my party up every time. If I'm grinding, I always try and switch it up a little bit, but still there is a lot to do, and you won't complete it in like under 100 hours, I doubt, unless you know exactly what you're doing, and you know exactly like the best party and everything, and you never miss like a spell, all that sort of stuff. If you get lucky then you could do it quite quickly, but for a normal playthrough you're looking at a good 100-200 hours, I would imagine. But I messed up a little bit at the start. I didn't realise how you got all the classes until I looked it up on like Wikipedia or something. Then I found out what I was doing wrong and corrected that. So I thought about starting again, but I thought no, I'll just correct what I've been doing, and carried on with the game. I'm still playing it now, so it's awesome. I'll probably take my DS on holiday and play some then, so hopefully I'll finish it, but I can't imagine I will. Right now I'm going to move away from actual games and switch to like the idea of portable gaming, I think, because obviously it's been around for ages, the original Game Boy. I'm not sure if that was the first one, but it's the first one I like used as a child, like really young. This was when literally Pokemon Red just came out. I can't remember what year it was, but I was probably about like 6, if that. So it's a long time ago now. But I mean, the idea of it then was awesome. I mean, because normally you have the big console in your front room with the big cartridges, and you had to hook it up to your TV. But then this portable gaming came along, and it's obviously a lot smaller screen, so you sacrifice the big screen that you've got, but you can fit in your pocket, which was awesome. So instead of carrying like a console around a friend's, you could just walk around there with your like Game Boy Advance or whatever, your Game Boy in your pocket, and you could go and play. As it grew, it got better and better, and it moulded more around going out and actually playing with other people that have also got this portable console. Like the Game Boy Color had infrared, I think it was, the Game Boy Color, and obviously a transfer cable as well, and you could connect the two. You could, obviously I traded Pokemon with it. Again, I always returned to Pokemon because that was the game I played the most, but I'm sure there was a lot of other stuff you could do with it as well, but that was mainly what I did with it. So, and that was amazing at the time. It's before, obviously, you couldn't swap things like that on consoles. Like say the PS1, you had to take your your little memory cartridge around and put it into their console and then transfer your data like that. But this was a lot easier. You could easily have like the same people playing the same game, and you didn't have to sacrifice any like split screening or anything like that. You didn't have to have a smaller screen. You still had your screen that you've always played the game on. So that was another thing, like the connectivity. And as it's grown, like as it's gone on, developers have focused more on it, to be honest, because a lot of people don't have much time to sit down in front of a TV and play endless hours of games like I do. I do have the time, so I can do it. But some people that work like say a 9 to 5 job and then come home and have a family, sometimes maybe they're commuting from work on a train, they can do it then, you know, they can sit on the train and, you know, maybe do like brain training or whatever, because I know that's hugely popular. Something like that, you know, they can play these games on the move instead of having to get home, you know, switch your console on and sit on the sofa while, you know, you could be spending that time with your family. So you still get that time of gaming, but it's just more convenient for you. I suppose that's what portable gaming is designed for. It's convenience at the end of the day, because you don't always want to have to, you know, sit in that one position. You maybe want to sit on a comfortable chair, you know, lay back, and you can't really do that with a console, because you've got to be sitting in that position, you know, sitting up, staring at a TV with the controller in your hand. You know, you can't just sit wherever you want, or, you know, like most of the time I lay down with you know, when I play portable games. Before I go to bed, I just, you know, lay down on my bed, play a bit of, say, my DS or something, and then fall asleep. So you can't really do that with a console, because you can't really look at it sideways, unless your TV's like on a rotating stand or something and you can just move it sideways. It should be pretty cool, but still, I think portable gaming has a huge amount of advantages. Obviously some disadvantages as well. You've got the smaller screen, obviously graphics aren't as good, the power of the machine is a lot less, so you can't have these huge, like, fantastic looking games. You're limited really with what you can do. Obviously you can still have fantastic games in it, so you can get like Mario Kart. Just, it pretty much looks the same as it does on the Wii, in fairness, because the Wii doesn't look that good, but it's, you know, you've got that wireless connectivity with the DS now, so you can play with people all around the world. I wouldn't recommend it because the Japanese are amazing, and there's no like split servers, so you will pretty much get owned by Japanese or Chinese people all the time on Mario Kart. But still, I mean, it is a good thing. I think they should definitely keep going with it, and I'm sure they will. Gradually they are getting bigger though, which is the only problem, because like when it started out they were quite chunky, obviously, because the technology wasn't there, and then they got all the way down. Like the Game Boy Micro, which I've still got, is absolutely tiny. It's, I don't really know, it's pretty much the same size as the video camera that I've just got, and that is ridiculous. So for like a gaming console to be that small, but they're gradually getting bigger again, which I don't really like. I mean, the new DS is quite big. It's like, you know, it's not mobile gaming anymore. I think they need to, you know, maybe think about that a bit more. Think about what it's being used for. Yeah, people demand higher graphics, but I'm sure as technology will go on, they can make a smaller screen but still have the awesome graphics. So, but still, you know, we can only hope that one day that'll happen. So it might not. So yeah, to sum up, that portable gaming, not necessarily laptops, because I don't class that as portable gaming. It's still quite serious gaming. It's just, you know, you can sit wherever you want. But yeah, so I think they need to concentrate on actually it being more portable. They don't want to get to the point where your Nintendo DS is basically a laptop size. I think that would ruin the idea of it for me. I definitely wouldn't buy it. I haven't bought one since the Lite because I don't like what they've done with it. I don't see the point of the camera. I don't know why they took the Game Boy Advance expansion bay out of it. Those two things, not too good for me. The PSP is pretty similar, like the PlayStation Go, whatever it was, PSP Go. It seems like a stupid idea to me, because of the fact that if you lose it, you lose all those games. With the PSP I've got, obviously, yeah, you need to take the cartridge out and put another one in, and you've got to carry around all the boxes and stuff. But at least you know, if you lose your PSP for any reason, you're still going to have all the games that you spent all that money on at the end of the day. So I think they need to go back to the, like, maybe not the cartridge loader, because I don't know, they might not be able to get high definition out of it or whatever, but I still think they need to go back to having a disc for the games, because, you know, that's pretty much what appeals to me. And I don't like the PSP Go because of the simple fact that I don't like digital stuff. The only time I will buy digital games is if it's in the Steam sale and it's ridiculously cheap. Like, I've bought so many games in the Steam sale because they are cheap. I'd rather have the physical copy, but sometimes, you know, if you want a good price, you've got to have it digital, so that's not too good. But yeah, anyway, that pretty much wraps it up on portable gaming and my opinion of it. So thanks for watching, and I will see you next time. Goodbye for now.